What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of my skate park review series. Today, as promised, I'm out here at Carnes Hill. So as I said in my last video, this is one of the skate parks that we come to a lot, and probably the second most skated one apart from St. Helens Park. This one is a bit further away from my house, but it's a lot more open and it feels more of like a street spot since there's just scattered rails and ledges everywhere. It's not like your traditional skate park. I'll give you guys a tour now. Alright, so as soon as we enter the skate park and head to the left, this is my legit most favorite obstacle in this whole park, this curved ledge here. It's so fun to skate. You can skate it backside, you can skate it front side. If you lock into the right grind or slide, it just takes you all the way around the corner. You don't have to balance too much. So I've definitely landed a lot of tricks on this that I never expected to, but just the angle of the corner helps you lock it in. Now out here around the beginning of the skate park, there's a lot of these little gutters that you can do slappies on. So many people do slappies on these, but I just can't manage to do it. I can do a little board slide and then pop off, but yeah, I don't know how people do slappies like that. So now we're gonna head over to the right side of the entry. There's this odd little obstacle. It's like a barrier, and then they've built a ramp on one side so you can hit the top of it or do stalls or wallies or whatever you wanna do. Further down this side, they've turned it into like a vert type of wall, which is really steep to skate. I've seen people shred it, but I just don't know how to do that stuff. Right here is another favorite of mine. This ledge used to be a lot better than what it is now. As you can see here, that cement used to be a gap, so it was dirt. You had to grind across the whole ledge to clear it, but now they filled in the cement, so it was cool knowing that you had to grind the whole ledge to clear the gap, but now you can just start from anywhere like a normal ledge, but it's still a good ledge. It's perfect height, I feel. Now this thing here, I've heard this thing be called so many different names. The dog bowl, the bird bath, the fountain. I just call it a manual pad. It's got a weird dip in the middle, so it kind of goes down and then up as you come to the outside of it. So yeah, it's just like a manual pad. This ledge here is another good one where you can skate it all three ways really. You can skate ledge front side and back side. You can manual on the top of it, or you can hit the back side here of the garden. You kind of have to gap over to it to grind or slide and then gap off again. So that side's pretty hard to skate. I don't see many people doing that, but it's possible. Now this giant wall here is ridiculous. I haven't seen anything go down. People try and wall ride as high as they can. There's a few marks that people have made it pretty high, but on either side of the wall there's these steep quarter pipes too. And this quarter pipe here, they've built it into the wall. So I've seen people do wall rides or even grind the top of that wall. So it's pretty cool. Nothing I can do on it though. This right here is one of my main reasons why I love this park so much. It's just so open. The ground's so smooth. There's so much area for everyone to skate, or even if there's little scooter kids riding around, you can kind of go around them because it's so open. This here is another great obstacle, another favorite of mine. It's a good sized rail, but it's square. I'm very picky and I prefer round rails, but it's still a good rail. And sometimes some of the slides and grinds are better to do on a square rail, but I still prefer a round one. Over here we have this barrier, which is like a parking block on the top, so you can either grind it, slide it, or use it as a gap. So I like to ollie over it in lines and stuff. You can just get creative and do whatever you want to do on it really. Heading into the more skate park section of the actual skate park, there's a roll in here that creates a little bit of a hip, and then there's a big quarter pipe right here that's on either side. There's smaller quarter pipes. So I've seen people skate the big one, or you can air up from the bottom to the top. I've seen some crazy stuff go down where they grind off the top and then come back down into the bank. But once again, I'm not too great at that stuff, so I'll leave it to those guys. This quarter pipe leads all the way around the side here, curves at the end there, and then adds to the wall too, so that follows the whole way around. This section here is pretty fun. There's a ledge that you have to gap out to. It's on a little bit of a slope, but when you're grinding it doesn't feel like it goes down. It feels pretty flat, but you still have to gap out to it, which is sometimes a bit scary. There's a little gap here. It makes a bit of a box gap. And then this rail is pretty sketchy to me. I think the zigzags underneath scare me. I don't want to get my leg caught in it or something. And the fact that it's pretty long and you have to get on pretty early. So I've done a board slide on it. I'd love to do something else, but we'll see how I go. Over here is another little pyramid gap type of thing with this also used to be a garden. The kids ripped the trees out as well, so they just cemented it in, which also made a pretty cool manual pad. So I'm not against making new obstacles, but they shouldn't have ripped the trees out, I guess. Yeah, this is a cool manual pad as well. You can grind up and down, you can gap to grind down it, manual up and down. There's so many things you can do on it. So I do see people skate that a lot, and I think that one's pretty fun too. There's a little hump, speed hump type of thing here, which doesn't get in the way. So this one's not too bad. I don't know what the use of it's for, but at least it's not in the way. Now, up the other end of this quarter pipe, it ends where the bank starts, so you can kind of grind off and land in the bank. This leads up to the little section that has a little out ledge. You can use that as a manual pad. You can grind the top ledge here, which is on a weird angle, so I haven't done anything on it, but I've seen people do it, so it's cool. This rail is pretty fun though. It's a good size, it's a good length, it's not too high at the bottom, and this one's probably the least scariest compared to that other big green one. There's a big hip over this side, which starts off big and ends small, or starts small and ends big, depending where you come from. And there's a weird wall ride that has a coping on the top too, so I don't really know if people hit that, but maybe when I see it, I'll believe it. Up here, there's a mellow quarter pipe that I like to skate, and it also gives you run up for the rail. Same as this roll in here. So you can roll down, skate over the hip or the rail or the little out ledge there. Then on this end, it's like a corner of a bowl. It's really steep. They used to have pool coping on it, but I think it just got chipped away as people used to skate it. So they just replaced it with regular coping. Now up the other end, closer to the road, there's this pole jam that kind of leads you into the skate park if you're going up from this way. But as you can see here, all the way along, they've put these seats here that have a good cement cover on the top. It's really polished, so it grinds well. I see a lot of the local guys skating it. At the top of this ledge here, you can skate this side of it. So it's another little flat ledge rather than skating it from the bank. Then if you follow it along to the top of this roll in, there's the top of the ledge on the other side of this big quarter pipe that people skate out of the bank, or I've seen someone kickflip off the top into the bank, which is super sketchy. Or on the side here, there's this hubba that I wouldn't have even thought was possible to skate, but I've heard some tales of people doing a few tricks down it. So that's another thing, I don't think I can believe it until I see it. But it wouldn't surprise me because there's some gnarly skateboarders out there. So there's a lot of people I know that really don't like this skate park at all. They say it's too boring, there's only rails and ledges everywhere, which is exactly why I like it. So I love that it's open, as you can see here. There's so much flat ground here, you can play skate, you've got plenty of room, you're not going to be cramped up in each other's ways. So I prefer the street style parks like this, the plaza style, where it's very open and there's just things scattered everywhere. So you have to be a bit more creative, everything just doesn't flow in one direction. So this is one of my favorite skate parks, and I do want to skate. I get at least one trick on every obstacle, but I need to set up a new board because I was skating in the rain the other day and it got a bit soggy, so I'm going to go do that now. Alright, new board set up. Just warmed up my legs. I'm going to start getting ready to skate some things. Just got to wear my board in first, so I'll practice a bit of flat ground. Then I'll get into all the obstacles. Let's do it. Holy shit, it is hot out here. I've just finished skating this part of the skate park, so I'm gonna head in over there. But damn, it's taking me so long to land anything because it's so hot. My left knee's still sore from last week when I was trying to back 50 that hubber and I kept bailing. So that's been a bit of a pain. It's so hot, there's some cloud now, so I can actually cool down a little bit, but yeah, I'm dying. So I'm gonna try and skate over this section. I'm not really expecting to do anything crazy, so let's just see how I go, I guess. I need to take a rest. I've still got a few things to skate. I want to do at least one trick on a few of these other things. But damn, it's hot out here. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm getting dizzy and stuff, so I thought I'd take a break. So while I'm resting, I'm gonna talk about the positives and the negatives of this skate park. The positives for me, as I've already said, it's so open, there's so much flat ground, it's all smooth. It's all the stuff I like to skate, so just basic ledges and rails, and there's a fair few ramps and stuff if you want to skate that stuff. So I feel like there's a bit of everything for everyone. But for me specifically, I really like this park because of that reason. So there's a lot of positives for me. Negatives for me is that flat bar is square, like I already talked about. I would want a round one in here somewhere. And that's me just being picky. That has nothing to do with the skate park. But if I had a perfect skate park, I would have a round rail here. So a flat bar, but it was round. There's no toilets here either. They're all the way down the other end of the park, which is, no one ever goes. Everyone just goes into the bush. So that's a negative. There's no toilets close to here. There's bubblers and stuff, which is fine, so you can get water. Across the road, there is a big shopping center of everything you need. So that's all good there. So for me, a real negative is the toilets aren't close. The round rail doesn't matter. Like, that's just personal preference for me. But one other thing is all of the gaps that they filled in. So there used to be a gap where the rail is and a gap where the flat green ledge is. So you could skate, you'd have to skate over the whole thing. You'd have to grind the whole thing to clear the gap, but they filled that in. So I don't know why they did that, but I wish it was still there. That made it so good just to have to skate the whole ledge and get over the gap, same as the rail. So yeah, positives, negatives. And at the end of my skating, I'm going to put in a map where it is and how far away from Sydney CBD it is and where the shops are and everything. So don't worry, I'll fit that in this time. I didn't do it at the last skate park, but I'm going to start doing it from now on. I'm going to have a little bit more rest, and then there's just a few more things I want to do, and then I'm going to call it a day because I'm dying. My hips are starting to ache a little bit. My left knee is not getting any better, but it's not getting any worse. It's just a dull ache that just stays there. So I'm going to try and get some tricks before I pass out. Let's get it. Alright guys, had to bail on the session. I was feeling so sick and dizzy. It's just so hot. I don't know why it's so hot out here. It wasn't supposed to be hot today, but the sun was beaming down on me. The air was thick. It was just horrible. And since my legs were dead, it was taking me longer to land tricks that weren't even hard for me. But yeah, I didn't get to skate everything I wanted to, but at least I got to do a trick on most obstacles to show you guys what's here, the size of everything and how everything looks. So yeah, this is a very good skate park for me. It's one of my favorites, and all of the positives are listed. It's fully open. It's a good place to practice your flat ground. It's a good place to practice your rail tricks, ledge tricks, manuals, everything. And then even if you're a guy that likes to skate transitions and stuff, there's all kinds of ramps up the other end. So I give this park personally a 4 stars out of 5, since it's really high up for me and it's one of my favorites. So yeah, I also forgot to add one of the negatives right here. If you can see that basketball hoop, there we go, there it is. There's a basketball hoop added to the skate park. So they did have 2 added to the skate park, and all the locals used to rip off the rings so people couldn't come and play basketball because they were getting in the way of our skating. So they got rid of one of them. Like, the council came and got rid of one of them because they knew the locals would just keep ripping the hoops out, because that one in the middle was in the way of you trying to skate the ledge that used to be over the gap, the one that I was pointing out before. This one's not as bad, it's out of the way, but it's still, if you want to skate that curve rail that I showed you at the beginning, curve ledge, sorry, this is the run up you need if you want to skate it backside. So yeah, that's another negative that I want to add to it. But other than that, and the toilets being all the way over the other end of the park, like the playground, everything's really good about this. Even I'll put this clip up now of where the shops are. So this is where the skate park is, this is where the parking is, and the road that it's on. Now, if you just cross this main road over here, there's a service station and there's a big shopping center here that has Woolworths and all kinds of stuff in there. So shops are close, you can get food. And this is only 30 minutes from my area, being in Campbelltown, but from Sydney it's another 30 minutes to come from CBD to here. I think it's worth a 30-minute drive from my house, but when I can't be bothered or I'm short on time, that's when I will go to St Helens Park, the park I showed you guys last week. But yeah, this skate park I hold very high in my my list of skate parks. I really like it, and hope you guys enjoy the skate park here. So if you want to come down and check it out, you know what everything looks like if you haven't been here already. But yeah, thanks for watching the second episode of my series. Comment down below what skate park you want me to do next, and I'll get out to there as soon as I can. It's been raining. Luckily I got a gap in the rain today, but it's been flooding here in Australia, and all of a sudden it's too hot to skate today, so Australian weather's crazy. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.